Go for it.
Let me know once my screen is visible.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Okay, now my screen is visible.
Yeah. You need to make it full screen though.
Yeah. Okay. Hope my screen is visible now. Yeah. We'll start. Good morning and good evening, depending on wherever you're joining from. Today we will be discussing Bhagavad Gita, Shlokas 6.37 to 6.39. And we are almost towards the final phases of Dhyana Yoga. We'll soon be going to chapter 7. That is the Gyan Vigyan Yoga. So quite far. We have reached quite far. And before we begin, invocation. We'll begin with the invocation to God and Guru. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Gururdevo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsa Chanuramardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Sorry, I can put this. We'll go to the next slide. Can you hear a background noise?
There was some water kind of sound.
I'll stop sharing screen and I'll try to. Or is it okay if we don't go with presentation mode today and I'll just do it in this mode, or just give me
Yeah,
1
that's
second.
fine. Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
Or just give me 1 second. I'll go with PDF mode today.
Yeah, you get the PDF, then we can get going. But yeah, we have been learning about training the mind and bringing it into our control so that we can progress on the path of bhakti. Mind can be a friend or enemy depending upon how we are training it. And we're going to learn more about the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna around the same topic. Or maybe Shiramaji, if you need time, probably we can do Bhakcharit first and
I'm okay. I think I'm started. Is my screen visible now?
yes.
Okay.
But
Sorry about
it's
that.
also not full screen right now. I don't know if just yeah. Okay, now it's cool. Yeah, it's fine. This is good.
Yeah. So a quick recap, what we've discussed so far. So in 6.2, we discussed that a sannyasi is same as yogi, and the preliminary requisite here, or the commonality between both of them, is that both of them have announced the desires. So the yogi, he has announced the desires towards the results of his actions. So same with the sannyasi. So and then Sri Krishna says, yoga rudaha, yoga rukshaha. He said for an aspiring yogi, karma yoga is what he suggests, and for an elevated yogi, dhyana yoga is the means to achieve the ultimate goal. And then from 6.4 to 6.9, he describes what are the symptoms of elevated yogi. Like we might say that, okay, I'm already elevated yogi. I'll start with dhyana yoga. I don't have to, practice karma yoga anymore. But he describes the symptoms of an elevated yogi. He explains about the samadrishya, or the equal vision, or how he looks at everyone, or how he's not attached to the actions, and all that is described in 6.4 to 6.9, when you can decide that you are an elevated yogi. And after 6.9, we come here. This is the flow. So 6.10 to 6.19, he describes the process of dhyana yoga, how you are supposed to select your place, how you're supposed to sit, what should be your object of meditation, and all of these things. And in 6.20 to 6.22, he describes the bliss that is achieved out of meditation. That is, ultimately you can behold your soul. So he talks of that Paramananda state, and he describes that state in this shlokas. And from 6.23 and 6.32, he reinforces the concepts, like once a person who has felt that bliss, how does such a person behave? So here, between 6.4 and 6.9 and 6.23 and 6.32, we will find some commonalities, like the part of an equal vision. So through when once a person has purified his mind to a great extent through karma yoga, he already has acquired some qualities. But once he further goes into dhyan, and he receives those dhyana yoga, so all of these systems are further reinforced, and that gets even stronger with them. So Sri Krishna he further describes even more on some of these concepts here. After 6.32, from 6.33 to 6.34, which we have seen in the recent past. So Arjuna has a question. He says that the process which you have described, is this even achievable? Like he said, I can control the wind, but I cannot control my mind. And in 6.35 and 6.36, we see that Krishna answers his questions. And he says, and he emphasizes on two important aspects. One is abhyasa, the practice, and the other one is vairagya, the detachment. And he says that through practice and detachment, one can definitely control the mind, and it is possible. It is certainly possible for a person to achieve that ultimate goal in one's lifetime. Now, Arjuna has few more questions, like a very inquisitive student. He asks some more questions. And we will start with those questions today from 6.37 to 6.39. Starting 6.37. Any hands? Anyone wants to go ahead and recite the shloka? Yes, Anjali, please go ahead.
अर्जुन उवाच अयति श्रद्धयोपेतो योगाच्चलितमानसः अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति.
Thank you, Sanjay. Please go ahead, Pratisha ji.
राधे राधे. अर्जुन उवाच आयति श्रद्धयोपेतो योगच्छलितमानसः अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति.
Okay. Thank you, Pratisha ji. So here goes the translation. Arjuna said, the unsuccessful seeker endowed with faith, whose mind deviates from yoga and has not attained perfection in yoga, what is his situation, O Krishna? So a very valid question. So when Arjuna listens to all of this, his mind starts with a lot of questions. I mean, he thinks about all this. Meditation is a long and arduous journey. And what if a person starts late? As it is, most of them in this world, they will think that all the spirituality is after you retire, and that's the usual mentality that many of them have. So what if somebody have a late start? And purification of mind through karma yoga itself takes time. And here Krishna has said that the purification of the mind, or you getting rid of your material desires, is a prerequisite for meditation. Otherwise, your mind won't even be stable for meditation. And here he thinks that purification of minds itself through karma yoga takes a lot of time. And after this, we are also supposed to hear and reflect on the scriptures. So this takes even more time, considering, okay, we have huge scriptures, not unless you know that Bhagavad Gita is the condensed version of all the scriptures. So he thinks that even if a seeker is sincere, it is going to take very long for him to attain the goal of meditation, let alone start meditating. To attain the goal of meditation, it is going to take even longer time. So Arjuna has this question: what happens when a seeker is striving to meditate faithfully and diligently, but is unable to reach the state of the perfected meditator in this lifetime? So, and he gives an example of a seeker who has so what is an almost perfect seeker? So he talks about a state wherein you have almost achieved it, but not achieved it, where you're very closer to the goal, but you have not reached the goal. So this is a very familiar situation for us in the materialistic realm, right? So he gives an example of a seeker who says that he has managed to purify his mind to a great extent, but he still has a small amount of desire left. The seeker may have comprehended that his true nature is the eternal essence, but is not able to remain established in the state. So what happens to such a seeker? So in the many of the previous verses and many of the previous discussions, we've also read that whatever state the person thinks about when he leaves this physical body, whatever that is the state he's going to achieve in the next birth. So here he says that yes, he's meditating, but but again, whatever state we think in the final moments are the state which we have practiced throughout. So no cheating, that we cannot say that okay, I'm going to enjoy material life, but just while dying, I would say Krishna, Krishna. It wouldn't be possible at that point of time. So here from a scientific point of view also, they talk about the state where in which you are when you're leaving the body. So at that point of time, if your sadhana is not complete, if you're not able to think of God, but if you have done enough sadhana, then what will happen to you? Like, you can't come back to the materialistic world because, you're not been thinking about material things. That this is enough. But at the same time, you're not able to focus on God also. So you're not even going to reach his realm. So it's like neither here nor there. So Arjuna asks, what will happen? And finally, Arjuna asks Krishna, is it even worth it? Is it worth it all? So he says, and so this nature of this question, he shows the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna. It shows how candid the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna is. And it is a pragmatic question, and usually when we take up any task, we have to think about the process and everything before taking up the task. So we don't do that in our material realm. Forget about evaluating the pros and cons and everything in the spiritual path. So here Arjuna is asking the question on all our behalf, and it's not that Arjuna doesn't know any of these things. He's Narnarayan avatar. That's what Arjuna is considered, but his delusion in the war and everything is a context for Sri Krishna to set up the Bhagavad Gita for us. So there's a pragmatic question many of us fear or fail to ask before pursuing our undertakings in the material world, let alone in the spiritual path. So this was the question posed by Arjuna, and he doesn't stop there. So he has a series of questions, and he goes on with his next question. Anyone wants to take up the shloka? Any hands here? Arjuna asked the next question with shloka 6.38. Please go ahead, Sandhya.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll give it a try. Kaschin No bhaya vibhrashatash chinna brahmaiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudo brahmana pathi.
Thank you, Sangaji. Please, Pratisha ji.
I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
कश्चिन्नो भय नो कश्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्ट छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढो ब्राह्मणः पथि.
Thanks a lot, Pratisha ji. So, I would also like to give a try for the shloka. Kaschinno bhaya viprashta chinna brahmaiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudo brahmana patihi. So, unsuccessful in both ways, with no worldly glory, distracted in the spiritual path, doesn't the seeker get destroyed like a scattered cloud? O mighty army. So, what does Arjuna mean by this shloka? So, every body have, I think most of us would have heard about this muhavra or the proverb. It says, "Ghar ka dhobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka." So, those who don't understand Hindi, I think there is a very famous bedtime story of a dhobi, of a washerman who has a donkey and who has a dog, and what happens when the dog starts taking the role of a donkey. So I wouldn't go with the story here unless someone raises the hand. I think all of them are aware, and kids would have enjoyed the story if they're listening to this. Now, this is a situation where someone has two jobs, but because he cannot do either job properly, he loses from both sides in the end. So, not talking of moonlighting here. And Arjuna wanted Sri Krishna to tell him whether someone who follows the spiritual path but is not able to attain the fulfillment ends up in a similar situation. Ends up in a similar situation. Okay. So, emphasizing further. Uh, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead to emphasize further what this means. But before that, here Arjuna uses a analogy of a cloud. He says that when a smaller cloud, it is separated from the bigger cloud, so it does not offer sufficient shade, and it doesn't have enough weight, so it is not going to burst into rain as well. So this in-between situation, it makes it very easy for the cloud to be scattered by the wind. So the wind might just blow it away and it will not even be seen in the sky. It is like in a no man's land. So it just merely blows in the wind and it perishes like a non-entity in the sky. So here Arjuna asks whether the unsuccessful yogi suffers a similar fate with no position in any sphere. So what Arjuna is telling here is the two jobs. What he's talking about here is one, he could either at least be materialistic and he would have enjoyed this life materialistically. He would have made himself comfortable in terms of his body, in terms of his physical body, and he would have got what he wanted materially if he would have pursued his material desires. But here he says that the seeker, he finds no value in this material desires. So he gives up on those and he starts with the spiritual journey, but he doesn't even get the results of the spiritual world. So he's neither got this nor he has got that. And even in economics, there is something known as opportunity cost. So a lot of organizations also, they evaluate what is known as this opportunity cost. So there's an opportunity and you go ahead and you pursue that opportunity. So when you pursue the opportunity, you have to reduce your resources, your effort, your time, or the people and everything in whatever activity you've been currently doing and which has been fetching you some profit. So they would incur these losses. What are the losses incurred in one activity by spending time in another activity? So if the seeker devotes a large amount of his time and efforts toward meditation, now obviously there is more time here, so this time is going to be reduced. So the time devoted towards worldly pursuit to obtain wealth status has reduced. And what if he fails to attain the desired outcome here? And also in this case, he has also given up that security of his worldly pleasures also. So here Arjuna asks about what if I'm in a state, or if a seeker is in a state like this, neither here nor there, in the no man's land. So here we emphasize a little bit on the shloka. So he uses these words, Ubhaya Viprashta. Ubhaya Viprashta means unsuccessful from both sides. So what are the two sides he's talking about? One is Apratishta. Apratishta is lack of worldly glory. And the other one is Vimuda Brahmana Patihi. So he is also distracted in progress on the spiritual side. So here he says that what if he ends up in such a situation? Arjuna, he's a pragmatic soldier. He does not want to get into such a compromising position. And he adds one more question. He adds another question in this series. So this is the next shloka. This is Arjuna's next question. So do we have any hands here for the recitation? Please go ahead, Sandhya-ji.
Others can also volunteer, I feel, like if they
Yes,
want.
yes.
But in case not, then we are always there. एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेतुर्महर्ष्य शेषतः त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य चेत्तानायुपपद्यते.
Anyone else? We have enough time to cover this shloka and Paksharit as well. Please go ahead, Pratisha-ji.
Yeah, okay. एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेतोर्मर्हस्य शेषतः त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य चेत्ता न ह्युपपद्यते.
Thank you, Pratisha-ji. Anyone else who wants to give a try for shlokas? It's been really long time for all of us to recite the shlokas, right? Anyone wants to give a try? Okay, no hands. I'll recite it again. I think 3 is a lucky number, so we should do it thrice. Etanme samshayam Krishna chetum arhasya heshatah त्वदन्याः संशयास्यास्य चेतना ह्युपपाद्यते. So to dispel this doubt of mine, O Krishna, only you are worthy. For other than you, no one is fit to dispel this doubt. So these are very heavy words. And so this is the final point, what Arjuna is trying to say, Krishna. So he says, Krishna, that only you are eligible. Like he says that only you are worthy. For other than you, no one is fit to dispel this doubt. So why does Arjuna tell that? Only one who is beyond the material world can answer the question that transcends the material world, and that is Ishvara himself. So, and look at how Arjuna emphasizes, and that is the whole point that we go in search of a guru, that we need to seek a guru, right? Because the guru would have transcended the material world. And when you have questions that do not correspond to this material world, so only the person who has seen that or who has experienced that bliss, or who has seen that transcendental world, can answer our questions. So this example comes many times, that maybe it's somebody has fallen into the well, then there should be another person who's outside the well to pull him out. And that is the emphasis this shloka places on asking the questions, or in seeking the answers from the right source. So here Arjuna has Sri Krishna. So he knows that Krishna is Ishvara in himself. And Arjuna had come to the conclusion that Sri Krishna was something more than his friend and charioteer. So in his mind, he already knows that Krishna is above all this. So he asks Krishna and he says that only you are capable of answering this. You are worthy of answering this. So please answer this. So please explain my questions. And Sri Krishna answers his questions. And we have the next 6 to 7 shlokas where Sri Krishna only answers the questions. And we are going to see the glimpse of just the next one here. And he says, "O Partha, neither here nor there does this destruction ever happen. For whoever performs virtuous acts does not go into distress, my dear." So, as an immediate answer, he says that don't worry, he's not going to be destroyed. And why he's not going to be destroyed, or how is not going to be destroyed, what is going to happen to him, in which world will he end up in, and all those would be discussed in the next series of shlokas. So this is just to set up for the context for the next class and to say that we'll be back soon in the next class. So a very quick summary and slides from my side. So that's it. And as we said earlier that we will be looking at the saints. And since I got into PDF mode, this link is no longer accessible. So please give me 1 minute. I'll open my presentation again and I'll share this. So we have spoken enough about failure today, right? What if I don't achieve this? What if I fail? What if I fail in the material world? And what if I fail in the spiritual world as well? What is going to happen to me? So I didn't want that dilemma for many of you to wait until next week and having these questions in your mind and you having sleepless nights. So in the meantime, I shared some wisdom from saints where a student has asked about failure and asafalta rather to Maharajji, and here Maharajji answers his questions.
You need to unmute it, I guess. We can't hear anything.
Sorry. Sorry. Before that, was the audio? Were you able to hear the audio?
Not for the video. We can hear
Sorry,
we can hear you, but we couldn't hear the audio for the video.
you couldn't hear the audio. Let me try sharing my screen again with the audio. Or is it okay if I share the link and if you could play Sandhyaji?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm somehow having some problems with my audio today.
Yeah, just share it with me. I can share it. Yeah.
I've shared the link again. I put the link in the chat.
Yeah. I am sharing it now. You can see the screen. Let me just go to
Yes,
this.
yes.
मेरा कल यूपीएससी की परीक्षा है, उससे पहले मैं 4 बार असफल हो चुकी हूँ। इससे मेरा मनोबल बहुत टूट चुका है।
You guys could hear it?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Cool.
ना का मूल ही होता है अशांति। जो अशांत है वो सुख कहाँ अनुभव करेगा। अब जितनी कामनाएं हैं वो सब भय और अशांति देने वाली। मैं इस परीक्षा में पास हो जाऊं, ना पास होंगे तो क्या होगा, इतनी बार फेल हो गई, फिर फेल हो गई तो मेरा तो जीवन बर्बाद हो जाएगा। कितनी चिंताएं, कितना शोक, कितना भय हमारे अंदर जागृत हो जाता है जब हम सांसारिक कामनाओं से युक्त हो जाते हैं। उस समय अपने मन को हमें बलवान बनाने की जरूरत है। नहीं नहीं, भगवान का कोई मंगल विधान होगा और अपनी त्रुटि देखनी चाहिए। मैं फेल क्यों हुआ, मेरी क्या प्रमाद स्थिति रही, मेरी पढ़ाई में कितनी प्रमाद स्थिति रही जिससे मैं फेल हो गया। निराश होने की, हताश होने की जरूरत नहीं। उसके लिए किसी टोना टुटका, जंतुर मंतुर, कलावा इनकी जरूरत नहीं है। जरूरत है भगवान का स्मरण करने की, आचरण की, पवित्रता की। अगर हमारे आचरण चरित्र पवित्र है और भगवत स्मृति परायण है, कौन सी ऐसी पढ़ाई है जो हमारी स्मृति को गिरा सके।
मेरा कल यूपीएससी की परीक्षा है, उससे पहले मैं 4
Okay, I guess we all got it. Or maybe Shemaji, if you want, you can also say the English translation, but it was very nice.
Yeah, so this was when a student asked, has not been able to clear UPSC for the last 4 years, and he has only 1 year left. So this was very relevant to what we discussed today. So many UPSC aspirants, and I've heard a lot of them say as well, if you're not able to get in this 2 years or 3 years, then don't waste your time further. Don't give it another 3 or 4 years. There are a lot of other options apart from UPSC. So, you can come out and you can still explore other options. There are still a lot of options as an aspirant. But every UPSC aspirant always feel that, no, I have to give one more try. It's going to happen next time. And this is a case wherein somebody may have this questions that, what if I don't clear? And if I spend another 6 years or 7 years, people have even prepared 6 to 7 years and cleared UPSC in the 8 years, who spent all their 20s in the UPSC. I mean, the mid 20s and the early 30s. So this is a case wherein people think that I would end up in the no man's land. Either I clear this, I don't have any option left. If I don't clear it, if I come back to the material option, then nothing is there for me. I'm neither here, I'm not that. So I'm in no man's land. I think every UPSC aspirant at some point of time would have felt this dilemma, and that was very much relevant to what we have been discussing here. So that was the intention of sharing that, we come with such questions even in our material world, let alone the spiritual realm. And here, what Maharaji says is, you go with the anxiety. You always go with the fear. What would happen? What would happen if I fail? What would happen if I don't get in? So he says that give up that anxiety first. Don't have such an anxiety. And here in our shloka, Krishna had Arjuna to ask. So that's how that he could get rid of that anxiety. And we may say, oh, but Krishna is not there in the physical form with us, but he has sent gurus and he has given us Bhagavad Gita, and he is present with us in the form of Bhagavatam. This association is still there, so not to be worried. So here, Maharaji says that you take the name of Krishna, like always Nam Jap. He said always remember Krishna, and he says he also emphasizes on the pavitrata of acharan, and you have to have purity in your day-to-day activities and in the work what you do. So he said you have these two. You always remember God. So when you remember God, you won't have the anxiety of what's going to happen next. It's as if God is there and he's guiding you. And you have the purity in your actions. That is the discipline in your preparations. And then he said with these two, and then you look like why you have failed instead of thinking what will happen next. See what kya kami thi, where did I go wrong, and you try. Truti is I think Truti is I'm not sure on the exact translation, but the deficiency, I think so. It's like look at the deficiencies, and then Maharaji says, now tell me what is the exam which you can't clear. So that is what Krishna will also tell in the next 3 shlokas. If you look at his answers, it's going to be very beautiful. So that's about what Maharaji has said.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And with that, I think it's a good
And
segue.
I'm very sorry again about the glitches and delays today.
No worries. It was a great presentation, very interestingly made. And of course, we know the question of Arjuna is reflecting all our questions because, like I personally fail a lot in practicing bhakti. So then this is like, but Krishna is going to give us an assurance that if you are striving, you know, there is some kind of a assurance given by him that a striver is being supported by him somehow, right? So I'm looking forward to that response, but it's relatable very much. So thanks to Arjuna and thanks to you for telling us that. with that, I'll start sharing the Bhakcharit presentation. Okay. So today is we are going to learn about story of someone which many of you might also already have heard. I don't know. How many of you have heard of Sakshi Gopal's story? Shri Ramya ji, you have also visited the temple, I guess, right?
Unfortunately, I couldn't visit the temple. But I'm
Oh, okay.
close to the place, thanks to you.
Dhruvil has, I guess. Dhruvil, did you visit Sakshi Gopal temple in your last visit?
Radhe Radhe, no, I've not visited, but I've heard the story.
Oh, okay. So, for those who have already heard the story, I'm gonna uh, remind you of the story so that you feel motivated enough to visit there next time, okay? Even I haven't myself visited, but I really, really want to. I have virtually visited the place, but not in person. So, okay. With that, let's get going further. So, and actually, as the name suggests, Sakshi Gopal. So, this story is about Krishna becoming, testifying for a devotee. He's becoming witness for a devotee. So, this is really beautiful story. So this is about an old Brahmin who wanted to go on a pilgrimage, Tirth Yatra. Now, his own sons were not that much interested in obeying his orders or taking him to Tirth Yatra. So he decided to ask another Brahman son, a child in the village who is also very poor. So he said that if you could take me, I'll also give you a job, like I'll give you money for this, and if you could take me to the Tirth Yatra. So this Brahman son said that, okay, I am interested because I'm getting food, I'm getting money, so I just have to take you around and travel. So I'm good with that. And with that, they went on. And this young Brahmin really very nicely took care of the old Brahmin. In fact, when old Brahmin was feverish, so they went to Mathura and Vrindavan as well. And that's where the old Brahmin was taken care by the young Brahmin very nicely. Now, in Vrindavan, there was a temple of Thakurji, where Thakurji was called as Gopal in that temple. And that's where the young Brahmin took like really nice care of the old Brahmin. So the old Brahmin was pleased, and he said that you have served me a lot. What can I give you? So an old Brahmin, I mean, of course, the young Brahmin did not ask for anything, but the old Brahmin himself offered that I'll give you the hand of my daughter. And I will also give you a lot of wealth. So now the young Brahmin said to old Brahmin, you are speaking here, but you have your sons who don't even listen to you. And I am a very poor person. So why would they let their sister's hand, sister get married to me? So the old Brahmin said, don't worry, I am promising you in front of Gopalji, in this temple, in front of Gopalji, that I will marry my daughter to you and also give you wealth. So, but after reaching home, the old Brahmin wanted to convey that he has made this promise to a poor young Brahmin, but he never felt the courage to be able to say this in front of his sons. So almost a month passed, and the young Brahmin did not hear anything back from old Brahmin. So he decided to visit the old Brahmin and remind him that you had promised to marry your daughter to me. Now, the sons actually ended up slapping the young Brahmin. They were like, Ki, how dare you ask for our sister's hand? You know what is your status, what is our status. And in all of this, the father remained quiet. And when the young Brahmin said that, you should say, he denied that I have not promised anything like that. And this is where the young Brahmin decided to call up for a panchayat. The panchayat that would happen very commonly in villages, to come to a conclusion. So now in the panchayat, the old Brahmin did not accept, right? So the panchayat said that only way for us to resolve this matter is to have a witness. Was there any witness? Now this young guy is actual believer that Gopalji was not just a deity, he was real Krishna's there. So he was a witness to our conversation. Although everybody else, including the old Brahmin, his sons, everybody is like, this case is going to be dismissed because that is just a deity of Krishna, that is not real Krishna. So, there is actually no witness. So it's of no benefit, it's just a stone idol. But young Brahmin's belief was very firm and he was like, I will bring the witness. So just give me some time. Now, all of this is happening in Jagannath, in Puri. And the Krishna deity was established in Vrindavan, right? So now this young Brahmin heads to Vrindavan to bring Gopalji along with him. So he went to Vrindavan, and by the time he reached there, it was actually sleeping time. So the temple doors were also closed. So he was very upset, right? He knocked from outside and he believes that it is real Krishna, right? So he knocked from outside and said, listen, Gopalji, I've come to ask you whether that old Brahmin had talked about marriage in front of you. He called multiple times. He did not hear any response. Then he became angry. He is like loudly, he said, look, I will not let you sleep peacefully. I have come on foot. I am also hungry. It is a matter of my marriage, not a small matter. You will have to speak, right? So now, with this anger of a devotee who is truly believing that this is real Gopalji, not any murti or deity alone, not just piece of stone, Gopalji spoke from inside. He said, are you mad? Does a stone idol walk? I am a stone idol. How can I walk all the way and witness or testimony for you? So he said, when an idol can speak, if you can talk, why can't you walk? So Gopalji got trapped. Like, because he spoke, now he has to do the next further steps, right? So he said, okay, fine. He came out of his altar and he was a very handsome young boy who started walking. And then Gopalji actually said, look, due to your love, I'm ready to go with you, but you will have to make arrangements for my food. So now this is the Thakur of Vrindavan, and Vrindavan Thakur is like treated very, very lavishly. Okay, he will eat opulent food, and the food will be like rabdi, gulab jamun, etc. So basically, to create a nice flavor in this, right? So he said to this very poor Brahmin that you have to arrange for all that food for me. Then only I'll come and help you in your love matter or your marriage matter. So he said it was a marriage affair. So I had saved some money. So I will make, some food arrangements for you. So he asked Gopalji how he would go to Odisha. So Gopalji said he would walk. So Gopalji but had a condition. He said, I will walk with you. I will walk behind you. And you're not supposed to look back. The moment you look back, I will stop there and I will not walk any further. So then he was like, how will I know that you are still walking behind me? He said, my anklets, the sound of my anklets will give you the reassurance that I'm walking behind you, but you're not supposed to look back. And then Gopalji started walking behind the devotee. Um, and the devotee, like the young Brahmin, kept on offering food to Gopalji throughout the journey. And this, I have heard this story in other platforms as well, and it is described how beautifully he's walking in all his, like in his fun manner. First of all, it's described that he is such a beautiful young looking guy, and then he's walking also like he's playing, right? So it's so difficult to not watch him at that time, right? Like it is such an enchanting view. It is such an attractive walk, but the devotee is actually following it for as long as he can. But by the time they almost reached the village, uh, the Brahmin, I think couldn't control. And so he ended up turning around, he looked back and Gopalji was there. But Gopalji said, now I will not go any further. And this was already near the village, so it was feasible for everybody else to come. So he said, now you call everyone here. And I think you can, so this is another beautiful thing, right? So he ran to the village and announced that Gopalji of Vrindavan has come to testify. The crowd was not yet ready to believe, but they were like, okay, let's go and see. So they gathered, and they actually, everybody there ended up seeing live Gopalji, like live Krishna who could walk and talk. So Gopalji was standing there. The old Brahmin and sons did not even dare to say anything now, of course, that Krishna has come himself. Gopalji testified before everyone to protect the devotee's word, and the young man got married. So, and since then, since that very day, at that very place, a temple got built, because the Vrindavan Thakurji is now there in Odisha. So there is this temple called Sakshi Gopal Mandir, or some people call it Sakhi Gopal Mandir, which is there in Odisha. And so this is not story of Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug. This is a story of Kali Yug. So point is that Krishna, for the devotees who truly believe that he does, it is him, a lot of, I mean, if we want, we can do this seva, right, of the idol of Thakurji that we have at our home. But the idea is to have that bhav and believe that it is him in real. And if we feel that way, then he will himself come. That is the whole idea. So it is a matter of our faith that if we accept that Thakurji is an idol, he will remain an idol. And if we accept that we may not be able to understand, but he is our Thakur, then one day he will make you understand that he is God himself. So never consider God as a photo or idol. He is the real God. If you have such a feeling, then you will start experiencing that Thakurji is actually sitting in front of you. So that is the story. Probably a repeat for some, but I would love to listen to this multiple times. So I guess that's okay. And we have some time. So actually, if you guys don't mind, I would like to hear this from the mouth. I just heard it from Premanandji himself. And if all of us are ready, we all can do that. It's a short video. So, when he explains it in Hindi, it just makes it even more beautiful. So let me just quickly play that video.
एक ब्राह्मण थे तो
Okay, start sharing. And I think now you have context, so maybe I don't even have to translate it. Where did it go?
तो तीर्थ यात्रा करना चाहते थे। उनके लड़के थे पर उनकी ज्यादा आज्ञा नहीं पालन करते थे, तो सोचा कि बूढ़ा अकेले तीर्थ यात्रा कैसे कर पाऊंगा। तो एक गरीब ब्राह्मण का लड़का था, उससे कहा कि भैया तू इधर उधर नौकरी के लिए भटकता, अगर तू मुझे तीर्थ यात्रा करवा दे तो मैं तेरी खान पान की व्यवस्था और धनराशि भी दे दूंगा। ब्राह्मण ने कहा चलो अच्छा है, आपके साथ तीर्थों का भी दर्शन होगा। तो जहां जहां जाना चाहते थे उन जवान ब्राह्मण बूढ़े ब्राह्मण को ले गया, तीर्थ दर्शन कराती हो। जब ब्रज धाम आया उसको बहुत बुखार आ गया बूढ़े को। उसने बहुत सेवा की, जैसे मतलब माता अपने बच्चे की सेवा करती है, ऐसे सब सेवा की उस जवान ब्राह्मण ने। बड़ा द्रवित हुआ बूढ़ा ब्राह्मण, धनी ब्राह्मण था वो। तो गोपाल जी के दर्शन जब करने गया तो उसने कहा बेटा तुमने बहुत सेवा की है, तुम्हें क्या दे सकता हूं। मेरे एक बेटी है, बहुत सुंदर है, बेटी और बहुत धन संपत्ति मैं तुम्हें दूंगा। बोले देखो बाबा तुम तो यहाँ बोल रहे हो, घर में तुम्हारे जवान लड़के हमारी पिटाई करेंगे। बोले हम गोपाल जी को साक्षी करके कहते हैं कि अपनी बेटी का ब्याह तुम्हारे से करवा दूंगा और संपत्ति भी दूंगा। बात हो गई। तीर्थ यात्रा करवा के जब घर पहुंचा तो बूढ़े की हिम्मत नहीं कि बात कर सके लड़कों के सामने, क्योंकि बेचारा गरीब ब्राह्मण का लड़का। महीना भर सोचता रहा कि कभी न कभी तो सूचना दे, वो तो सूचने नहीं, तो घर गया उनके और बोला देखो बाबा आपने कहा था कि तुम्हारा लड़कों ने धक्का लगाया और दो चार थप्पड़ लगाए कि तेरी सामर्थ्य क्या है कि तू मेरी बहन से ब्याह करने की बात सोच सके। बोले नहीं बाबा ने कहा था। अब लड़कों की वो स्वरूप देख करके बाबा बदल गए। उनका हमें नहीं याद है कि हमने कुछ कहा था। अब उसने कहा अरे नहीं, तुमने तो गोपाल जी के सामने कहा था। उनका हमें याद ही नहीं कि हमने तुमसे कुछ कहा है। पीट के भगा दिया। और उस लड़के को इस बात का बुरा लगा कि तीर्थ यात्रा करके आया और कह रहा कि मुझे याद नहीं है। अब मैं अपनी तरफ से तो कहा नहीं था ब्याह करने की, और इसने हमारा अपमान भी करवाया। अब तो ब्याह करके ही रहेंगे, उसकी जिद चढ़ गई। उसने पंचायत बुलाई और पंचायत में कहा कि इसने हमें तीर्थ यात्रा के लिए प्रेरित किया, तीर्थ यात्रा ले गया, मैंने इसकी सब सेवा की, इसने ठाकुर जी के सामने मेरे ब्याह की बात कही। तो बोले कोई और गवाही दो तब बात बनेगी। बोले गवाही में तो केवल हम ही और ये बुढ़ा और ठाकुर जी थे। तो बोले अब भाई गवाही तो दो में क्या, तुम जो कह रहे हो कि इन्होंने कहा, वो कह रहे नहीं कहा, तो तीसरा चाहिए। तो तीसरे में तो ठाकुर जी थे। तो बोले अगर गवाही दे दें तो ब्याह हम जबरदस्ती करवा देंगे। पंचायत पहले लगती थी गांव में, जैसे होता है ना न्यायालय, तो छोटा मोटा न्यायालय समझो गांव का। पंच लोग जो निर्णय कर देते थे फिर वही होता था। तो बुढ़े से कहा, तो बुढ़ा राजी हो गया क्योंकि उसे पता था गोपाल जी थोड़ी आएंगे। उसने कहा अगर गोपाल जी कह दे पंचों के बीच में आके कि हाँ हमारे सामने ब्याह की बात हुई थी, तो अब किसी की बात नहीं मानेंगे, हम ब्याह कर देंगे। लड़के भी राजी हो गए क्योंकि सबको पता था कि कोई ठाकुर जी मूर्ति थोड़ी चल के आएगी। और उसने मूर्ति नहीं माना था, उसने साक्षात ठाकुर जी माना था। आया वृंदावन और ठाकुर जी का शयन हो गया था। वहां से अब वो बहुत परेशान कि अब कल तक हम रुके फिर ठाकुर जी से बात करें तो ऐसा। अब दरवाजा बंद थे, खटखटाया क्योंकि उसके लिए मूर्ति थोड़ी है। और कहा सुनो गोपाल जी, हम तुमसे ये पूछने आए कि वो जो वृद्ध ब्राह्मण था उसने कहा था कि नहीं तुम्हारे सामने ब्याह की बात। दो चार बार आवाज लगाई तो वहां से तो कोई उत्तर नहीं आया। फिर बहुत जोर से बोला भड़बड़ा के, देखो हम तुम्हें चैन से सोने नहीं देंगे, हम पैदल चल के आए, भूखे हैं, और आप ब्याह की समस्या है और आपको इसका उत्तर दे, छोटी मोटी बात होती तो छोड़ देते, ब्याह की बात है। ठाकुर जी ने अंदर से कहा मूर्ति कहीं चलती है वहां चल के, जब बोले मूर्ति बोलती तो चलेगी क्यों नहीं। ठाकुर जी फंस गए। ठाकुर जी ने अंदर से कहा कि कहीं मूर्ति वहां जाके थोड़ी उड़ीसा में वहां जाके साक्षी थोड़ी देगी, मूर्ति चलती थोड़ी है। बोले महाराज जब मूर्ति बोलती है तो चलेगी क्यों नहीं। अब ठाकुर जी विवश हो गए। ठाकुर जी बाहर निकल के आए और सब सेवक लोग सुला के गए थे। समझो कितना भाव में दम है। उसने देखा बहुत सुंदर गोपाल जी साक्षात ठुमुक ठुमुक कर करके आए, नौ किशोर। बोले देखो हम चलने के लिए तुम्हारे भाव के कारण राजी तो है, लेकिन भोग राग की व्यवस्था, क्योंकि हम वृंदावन के ठाकुर, हमें तो चक माल चाहिए, हमको चना चवेना में तो रुकने वाले हैं नहीं, रबड़ी गुलाब जामुन ये सब चक चाहिए। तो बोले देखो कुछ रुपया तो है, अब शादी का चक्कर, इसलिए व्यवस्था तो तुम्हारी बनाएंगे ही हम। तो बोले कैसे चलोगे। बोले चलेंगे तो हम पैदल ही, आगे आगे तुम चलना, पीछे पीछे हम चलेंगे, थोड़ी थोड़ी देर में कुछ भोग लिए रहना, हमको भोग लगा देना। बोले अब हम चले और तुम आ रहे हो कि नहीं आ रहे हो ये मुझे कैसे पता चलेगा। बोले नूपुरों की ध्वनि तुम्हें सुनाई देगी, अगर पीछे मुड़ के देख लिया तो जहां से मुड़ोगे वही हम खड़े हो जाएंगे, आगे नहीं चलेंगे। बात तय हो गई, चल दिए ठाकुर जी। अब आप देखो क्या मूर्ति है। और वो बीच बीच में भोग लगाता हुआ जब अपने गांव के नजदीक पहुंचा तो सोचा केवल नूपुरे बज रहे हैं कि आ भी रहे हैं। मुड़ के देखा तो ठाकुर जी खड़े। बोले चलो, बोले अब नहीं, अब सबको लिवा के यहीं लाओ क्योंकि हमारा तुम्हारा वादा था। तो बोले कोई बात। गांव में दौड़ता हुआ गया, सबसे हल्ला मचा, वृंदावन के ठाकुर पधारे साक्षी देने के लिए। अब तो भीड़ इकट्ठा हो, साक्षात ठाकुर। अब सब पंच आ गए। तो अब पंचों के सामने बुढ़े को कुछ बोलने की हिम्मत नहीं रही। ठाकुर जी ने सबके सामने उस भक्त की वचन रक्षा के लिए बोले और कहा "हाँ, हमारे सामने का और ब्याह हुआ। अब आप सोचो, अगर ये कोई बात सतयुग की नहीं है, ये बात सतयुग की नहीं है, ये कलयुग की ही बात है। हमारी श्रद्धा, हमारा विश्वास, जैसी हम भावना, अगर ठाकुर को मान लिया कि मूर्ति है तो मूर्ति ही रहेंगे। अगर मान लिया कि हम भले नहीं समझ पा रहे लेकिन हमारे ठाकुर है, तो एक दिन वो समझा देंगे कि वो ठाकुर है। जो छवि हम देख रहे हैं, राधा बाबा के पास भी ऐसी छवि थी। तो राधा बाबा से ठाकुर जी बात करते थे, ठाकुर जी मुस्कुराते थे, और हमारे सामने छवि, क्योंकि हम उन्हें फोटो मानते हैं। कभी फोटो और ये बात ना माने कि मूर्ति वो साक्षात है, ऐसी भावना करे तो अनुभव में आने लगेगा कि ठाकुर साक्षात हो।
Yes, so that was it. And of course, hearing it from Premanandji directly was like, I think, a treat. Okay, and what's the time? 10. Perfect. So with that, let's close this and we'll meet next weekend. Till then, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.